Today, I want to discuss some of the vulnerabilities that comes with artificial intelligence. A lot of great opportunities. That also means that these great opportunities really have to be evaluated properly in order for not the day zero, day one, but rather day two and beyond, right? So that as the process improves, right, as the maturity happens and implementation grows, how do we capture the best like it was on day two, possibly, right? Because all things works really well, in first couple iterations. So there's a lot of these discussions about, hey, the data that I had on day three and four, or mile one and zero, wherever in the journey you are in, lots of good data probably made the big difference. But as the data grows, how do you, uh, have those growing data that is not necessarily in your control all the time? Say, for example, in your production environment, you have these data that was just an anomaly, right? That was just something that happened randomly. A good, very good specific example that everybody can relate to is COVID, right? So when we do business intelligence data analysis, we actually skip the whole 2020 because that just isn't worth our analysis, right? So let's get into something that is very specific in that vulnerability assessment. All right, let's talk about some of the vulnerabilities that comes in the medical industry, healthcare industry specifically, um, in implementation of AI and having that AI be sustainable because of all the regulations that comes with the healthcare industry.
Absolutely. That's a crucial topic. One major vulnerability is ensuring AI systems comply with strict privacy laws like HIPAA and
Okay,
GDPR.
let's not go down that road. Let's just talk about the vulnerabilities in the data scaling. Let's even talk about synthetic data and the data cannibalism issues that happens in the synthetic data.
Sure, one key vulnerability with synthetic data is the risk of data cannibalism, where synthetic data sets start being generated from other synthetic data instead of real world data. This can lead to a feedback loop where errors and biases amplify over time.
Okay,
Also, ensuring
let's specifically jump into quality of data, like the data degradation, or missing data, like data amputations and things of that nature.
Absolutely. One major vulnerability is data degradation over time, where old data sets lose relevance or accuracy. Another challenge is missing data, which can lead to biases or incomplete models,
What
requiring
what about what about a specific use case, not a specific use case, but more like an example of these data that loses real life, I guess, a production environment value.
Sure, here's an example. Imagine a hospital's AI model for predicting patient readmissions. If that model's training data degrades over time due to missing updates, incomplete patient records, or synthetic data that doesn't reflect current conditions, the AI might start making inaccurate predictions. This can lead to poor clinical decisions.
Instead of prediction, can the AI make wrong data entry because it's not able to really understand the context of the data field?
Absolutely. AI can misinterpret context, leading to incorrect data entry, especially in fields with complex terminology or subtle differences.
Yeah,
This
give
can
me
result
give
in
me
data.
one example of that complexity that is not available probably on day one, but shows up on day 100.
Sure. Imagine an AI handling patient records. On day one, it might correctly log vital signs. But by day 100, new complex fields like nuanced medication interactions emerge. If the AI doesn't fully grasp these evolving contexts, it might input outdated or incorrect data, compromising patient care.
Let's do a Google search on expert system and a learner system and difficulty of having a learner system. Do a Google search on the screen here about the vulnerabilities with a learner systems and expert systems. Okay, good. So let's talk about the expert systems, and if they don't mature, how do we help it to mature or learn as a learner system?
Great question. To help an expert system mature, you can integrate machine learning components that allow it to adapt based on new data. This hybrid approach, sometimes called an adaptive system, combines the structured knowledge of an expert system with the flexibility and learning capabilities of a learner system, improving its accuracy and adaptability over time.
Okay, good. Let's talk about the artificial intelligence use cases that is uh, good for R&D in the healthcare industry, and how AI plays a crucial role in that R&D piece. So that way, maybe pharmaceuticals are able to create a highly personalized medicine, and is able to do those R&D for faster, better, and cheaper.
Understood. The search is running now, and results should appear on your screen shortly.
So downstream, what you will have problems with is the um, improvement of your R&D using the data that you're collecting, say today or 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, right? If this data has a good structure and context developed in order to do R&D for the future, these value of the data increases, right? Because now you have to do less work to say, I have this specific issue and this is the output that I'm looking for. But in order for me to have this output, the black box, the neural networks really have to understand a whole lot of things that I don't have access to. Like I don't understand this demographics of, say, a wild example of it is the protein fold, right? Say, like, I don't understand the protein folds the way it is structured today. Well, deep learning AI has structured these protein folds in order for the black box of the neural network to have those protein folds available, and now creates variable output or a result based on this protein fold, based on the input of a person's specific need of what the output needs to be based on protein fold. So that's one set of data. But if you don't have that data about the person structured in a way that protein fold and that personal information can come together in order to create that output, you're going to have lots of issues down the road in order to create that synthetic data. And you probably don't want to create a synthetic data because now you don't want to risk somebody's ecosystem within their body that is not necessarily going to work with that personalized medicine. So there's so many ways to understand these vulnerability, but the vulnerabilities that we really need to understand is that you have one capability today, but that capability is going to grow tomorrow. So what your intention behind those capabilities are is very important, right? Very important to emphasize on that intention of, this is why we're collecting those data. And once we get to a point, this data has to be matured up to this point, right? And then through this maturity, we're going to be using individual treatment plans that, say, for example, your organization, you want to be top five in the world, right? And then do you have that top five data that you need in order to be top five? Um, Vulnerabilities are an opportunity as well, right? So intention, capability, and opportunity. Even though there's a lot of vulnerabilities behind it, there's always an opportunity. And one of the key takeaways today can be that it's about future extraction, right? You're extracting, you're futuring things that are coming out of the data set. So if you don't have the right data set and your features that you're looking for is not matching, it's because of the data is not available. And you have to work towards making sure that you have the right data, even if it's synthetic. But how do you collect more realistic data in real time from actual environment, production environment? So future engineering, future extraction is a massive effort, and it's always worth it to think ahead, develop that intention, and have those capability built. So when the opportunity shows, it's always aligned. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, And I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm looking forward to your questions. Hopefully, we will meet and go through these topics one by one. And if you benefit from it, please do like it, and then let me know what is the other topics that you would like me to discuss. And future days, I probably will create a video just on the topics that you recommend. Thank you so much.